Okay, we're gonna start the meeting, we're gonna call the meeting forward. I'm gonna start with the roll call, and I am present. Estela Rodriguez. Present. Angie Reyes. Present. Adrian Zapata. Cynthia Mares. Present. Juan Caballero, I'm sure he's on his way. Priscilla Pantoja. Present. But we do have a quorum. Okay, do we have any citizens' comments? Not today. We're gonna go with item number 5. Discussion with possible action on evaluation of general funds, average scores, and recommendation amounts. Are we ready for that?
Well, do we need to approve the next one?
Oh, gosh, I skipped the minutes. Where's the minutes?
We don't have.
Number 3?
They're in the folder.
I didn't see them, I'm sorry, I'm so desperate to get going. Yes,
Me neither.
would you please review the minutes?
In this packet.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Anybody like to second the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been seconded. We will continue now with, we said about the citizen comments, and there are no comments for today. Action item number 5, it's going to be discussion of possible action of evaluation of the general funds, average scores, and recommendations amounts. Are we ready to start based on our list? First of all, I really want to start by thanking everybody for taking the time in doing this. I know that it was not easy, and there were a quite good number. Our time was limited, and everybody's deadline was short. So thank you for doing what you were volunteering for, and your efforts are going to be greatly noted and appreciated. We're going to start we're going to take our time because we're going to review the items, and if anybody has any questions like we did the last time, please address them, okay? We're going to start with, how do I turn this off? We're going to start, yes, please. We're going to start with item number 1, and that is the Area Health Education Center of Mid-Rio Grande border area of Texas. My question is, did everybody's scoring come in, or do we have any scoring pending?
Everybody did score.
Everybody did score, okay. Does anybody have any discussion or questions on their application?
No, I guess my only question comment overall was, from what I remember, I don't have my photos, but there was 25,000 max
Right.
per the general fund, correct?
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
just making sure I was reading correctly, okay?
Anybody have any comments?
And they're asking for what?
They were asking for 30, actually 85,000. So I'd like to make some comments.
Yes.
The application was incomplete. Their revenues and grants were not noted. It was empty. Yet I did review their 990 form with the IRS, and there was a substantial amount of grants that were, which is good, that were available. What I was concerned about is they had a carryover revenue for the following year of 6 figures, which was 232,958. So my question is, why are we providing 30,000 that they're, or 85,000 that they are requesting, when they have a carryover, a healthy carryover amount for the following year? That was one of the concerns that I had, and I said, you know, we're in a very different times right now. There's got to be shortages. There's got to be limits, and the city is limited into what they can fund. If there's an organization that has healthy funds like this one, I would say please consider that, because there's going to be maybe some other organizations that really don't have this backup that this organization has, number 1. Number 2, their request for support was for the coordinator 30,000 when they're estimated last year, or for 2025, 26, sorry, it's 40,000. It's supposed to be 25%, not 40,000. And this is far from the 25%, so that deduction would have to go down. The other qualifier that I said absolutely is not a qualifier for what is defined is the student supplies and t-shirts and caps of 5,000. Another one that was definitely not a qualifier was the scholarships of 10,000. So all of those started just taking off and chipping off and saying, this should have been, I would have appreciated if they would have taken the time to really fill it out. On the first part of the description and expenditure budget, they did not note the grants, they did not note the donations, and they did not note the fundraising. It's not a complete application. Their grants were very healthy, but this is what happens. When they don't note that, and we base it on this, we have all the right. And we don't know that, so we're judging on, well, they're gonna need the money for this. But when you have to go and search, which is what we did, which is not an easy search, you're finding out that there's, almost $619,000 of revenue, of which scholarships, you had a grant from UT of $257,000, which was not noted. You had a grant of the National HCOP State of $92,000, not noted. Guadalupe Lilia Martinez grant, $35,000, not noted, and on and on and on, and I have a list. So to me, I would appreciate it if you have that application, I cannot judge you on giving me a complete application, even though you added attachments and you're not referring to them. If we don't sit there and review 168 pages, we're going to make an unqualified judgment because we're not informed. So I wanted us to understand that there's a lot of details that are not noted in the applications, and I have all that here as far as anybody wants to look at it. Total liabilities and assets without any restrictions total $292,000. Cash at the end of the period, $232,000. So justifying that request of that amount is something that needs to be totally considered if you were not aware of that. Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question. So, obviously there's several concerns here, that, need to be addressed. Is this something that we would need to, or we can as a committee, change the criteria, or I guess rules, such as, organizations that may have a healthy balance that is carried over? Is that something that we can or cannot use to score the application to? You mentioned scholarships.
That's a no, I checked. That's already a disqualifier.
Okay, so any funding being requested cannot be used for scholarships?
Yes, absolutely.
That's already.
Neither for.
Okay. I guess as we address them, are these things that we can come back and, formally place it on the agenda and, so that it now becomes part of the process? Or how are we gonna address this?
So what we were thinking of doing is, this is kind of two ways to use.
Right.
And use your judgment based on the correct information that was not provided, and use your scoring metric based on what has been provided to you. But we had already decided, we had already talked about it, that at the end of this, we're gonna sit down and say recommendations for next year.
Okay, so, so basically, you're saying, use your judgment as in, we do take that into consideration when we're gonna score, or
Use
we're
your
gonna wait
judgment.
until?
I am recommending, the information was not noted that is important to make the decision on the amount distributed. I provided that information already. I am providing you with the amounts of the grants, and which is, by the way, total $584,000. Which, by the way, those are without donor restrictions. With donor restrictions, well, I'm gonna say it as both because it's reflecting on the other. And then the net assets for the end of the year is a carryover $287,000 with deductions, and total liabilities and net assets total $292,000. So at that point, take that into consideration because that was left out of the application. It's not a complete, transparent application, or for me. Having said that, I mean, does anybody wants any more information or?
No, I think the points that you've brought up and the information you're presenting is valid, and I appreciate, you're researching that, because yes, you look at the application and you have questions and stuff, but some of that information is not totally transparent. And so I agree that, well, I know we discussed this the last time, but I hope that staff is taking notes, so that at the end of the day, we'll have a laundry list to which we can form our agenda item to present to the council, because
Yes.
we tend to forget, and each one is, we say this and it's to this, it's not to this. So it's important, everything that we're discussing here in terms of the criteria is very important, because to me, I mean, 52,000 additional money is not justified, not even 33,000. I mean, I'm even saying.
I mean, and actually, they're asking for 85,000.
Yeah.
And the totals were, some of them were disqualifiers, because it was not the 25%, the 10,000 was not applicable. There was no disclosure on total funding, T-shirts were not applicable. So I'm gonna proceed and give you my funding score amount, and I'm gonna say 0.
Did they mention at all whether they were gonna receive the projected grants, or
They've already been allotted.
they have already been?
My
given
whole
those
question
grants?
was this, and I looked at the history, trying to get a history, so I went into the file of the entities, the estate, the funding entities, to find out how long have they been funding them. So they do show continuous funding, but that is extremely time. What I'm trying to say is, we shouldn't have to be doing that.
They should have.
They should do that.
Yes.
And in true honesty, if you disclose that, it's not a bad thing, but you need to justify why you need the money. When you are a healthy organization, maybe you should consider not applying. I'm just suggesting, okay? Or maybe not even for that amount. It's something that I think it needs to just be discussed.
On that note, if I may, I did see that a lot of the financials reported or were based on 2023. And I'm assuming it was because the deadline was in March. But I don't know how the committee feels, but I would think that we would want the year before, right? So in this case, it'd be 2024.
So that's gonna be mentioned at the end of the reviews, because that is gonna be affecting every single application.
Right.
I do want you to know that AHEC did provide a 2022. So it was not 2023, it was 2022. So anyway, going with the scoring, I'm gonna go down the line. Priscilla, what would you like to recommend?
Are you saying a funding amount? Well, obviously it can't be 85, so I would say at 8,000.
I have a question. So the last time we were here, we had I think we said average score is 70 or what, I don't know what number, 75? A 75 and above. I think we said that we were gonna award them the maximum.
No,
What
we
was it?
rescinded that.
No, we we took at the end, right?
Yeah, we rescinded that. The reason why is the scoring on the application is all over the place. Are we scoring because the application is complete, or are we scoring because they qualify?
Right.
So because of those openings and lack of direction, you cannot score it on the general score because it doesn't support the need. It doesn't,
I know what
so
you're saying.
that's why we rescinded that.
So then we're basing ourselves on just the total amount, the max amount that they can receive is 25,000. And so based on, the information that was presented, I would say to award
Okay.
them 8,000.
Cynthia?
I agree with you, and I say 0. But
Okay.
I'll go with whatever the majority wants.
I was gonna go with 5.
Okay. And Adrian?
I'll do a 10.
Okay. Okay,
Stella.
next.
Yes, Stella.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forget to look to the right. Stella, forgive me.
No, I just had a question. Did anything that they requested qualify?
So if you look at their application, for me, it doesn't qualify because it's not a complete, defined application.
But since we're awarding something, Were there any items that they requested funding for? that
Education and
qualified?
supplies, manual books, 10,000, which I researched and I couldn't find the support for that. I mean, honestly, it's gonna be, again, up to you, because field trips, well, field trips to where? And even though they were defined as to who they go with and the population that would attend the field trips, it was 12,000. I mean,
Well, I'll suggest 10,000,
okay.
because I think they take, I know they didn't specify that, they take the students to.
They do specify that, but they do have it, yes, thank you, we took it, we will take your recommendation. Okay, the next one is gonna be Bethany House of Laredo.
So what was,
So what was,
we have different numbers here. You have zeros, you have 8.
The totals, you want the totals?
Well, I mean, what's gonna be the consensus here?
Yes.
Well, we have.
You wanna do the average, or do you
Yeah,
want?
Yeah, the average, okay, we can do the average now.
The 0, and then there was 2 tens?
1 5 and 1 8.
1 5 and 1 8.
And five
And
is-
5,500.
2 zeros?
Yes, 2 zeros,
Two zeros.
2 zeros.
2 tens and 1
You
eight.
were 8, 10, 10, 5.
You okay help you with that?
1, 2, 3.
5,500.
5,000?
How much?
5,500.
5,500.
Okay. Going with the next one. Let me just get the copies of, the other one that I have is Bethany House of Laredo. I looked at their annual report and the mission statement, and they also have a strong support system,
Yeah,
which was not noted under fundraisers. They did note it under donations, but the foundation grants were not noted, and they do have a good, healthy support throughout our community. However, my concern was just that the funding that they wanted was 50,000. Of course, we're only talking about 25,000, but they wanted 50,000 for supplies. So we cannot do the 50,000, but in my opinion, they do provide, they supported the 600 meals served average per day. They do provide 112,000 meals or more during the year because they supported all that information. Therefore, my scoring with them was 25,000.
I agree with that.
Because they want an additional 20. But I mean, this year they were getting 30, so I'm asking for another 20.
This is for the budget for 20.
The max is 25.
The
right?
maximum is
So
25.
they're asking for
Yeah.
20 in addition to what we gave them last time, what was given to them last time, they're asking now for an
That's
additional
correct.
20.
This year, for
For
2025,
26.
26.
Uh-huh.
Now, they do have funding that I have to research as well, and I couldn't be making copies of everything, but let me see if I have their numbers here. Their
I think they're
funding,
pretty healthy.
it was very healthy, and I saw 6,992,000. And carryover, I was trying to note the carryover and I didn't note it, so they're healthy as well. Do we wanna go, and maybe I might resend even my score, because you do have that money. Even though you're doing a great job, there is money available to continue. So I'm gonna resend my score, because the need is there, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you back. But the support was not noted. So it would be kind of hypocritical to give them 100% on their score based on the need. So I'm gonna resend mine a little bit and change it. So I'm gonna go with 15. Because of their financial position right now. Priscilla?
Peter,
I
averages?
agree, I think their
Averages.
application was complete and based, I mean, taking that into consideration, there's other organizations that truly have a bigger need, so I would say 15,000 as well.
Cynthia?
I'll go with 10. Are you giving the average?
I'm gonna go with 20.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with 5.
I'll go with 15.
And then mine was 5.
5. Mine was 10, right? Was it 10?
Right.
That's what
It was 15,
15, 15, 10, 25, and 10, 15.
correct.
15, 10, 15, 20, and 15?
No, what were
15,
you
15,
saying?
10, 25, and
Yeah.
15.
That was 10.
So it's 13,333.
Should we round it up to 14?
No rounding up. We're sticking to the
We're sticking
numbers.
to the numbers.
13.
If we round it up for one, we have to round it up for all, and it's gonna start
Yeah,
going back and
it's like
forth.
a weird number.
Can we move forward now to Casa Misericordia? Oh, I'm sorry. Boys and Girls Club, I had to refrain from
That's
voting.
right.
Me as well.
Maybe as
So
well.
there's 2 of us. So Cynthia, do you wanna open and the discussion with Boys and Girls Club and start the scoring, and then we'll go back to Priscilla?
All right, yeah, not a problem. I reviewed everything, and you're right, and of course, that we're here to present those, but they're very visible in the community, we know that, but it's not for lack of support and for sponsorships and, philanthropists that are out there always donating to them. And, is this turned around, right? Because it says that now, they had 15, now they're requesting 25, it's the opposite, right?
Right,
It was turned around, right?
I think they probably know the amount that's
probably.
limited to them this year.
Just as a
They
note,
just asked for an extra 25?
and for full disclosure, they did apply also with the Hotel Motel.
Yes, I
Right.
know. But I was just thinking that maybe they were inverted, that they were currently funded at 25 to the general fund, and they're asking for 50 now.
No, I
They're
think,
receiving,
No?
right now currently they're getting 15,000,
50,000.
yeah, no, I think they did, they
That's the
attended the meeting, so they knew.
the maximum
The
is.
maximum was 25, so they just said 25.
All right, so putting all of that in perspective and all of what I saw and all the, and their packages and everything else, I'm going to say 10,000.
Okay. Ms. Davis?
I cannot.
Oh, she can.
Oh,
You're
you can't do that.
20.
Okay, Priscilla?
10,000.
Estela?
Estela, you're gonna, from now on, you're gonna wear something brighter for me. 15,000.
So what was the scores? 10?
10, 20,
10.
10, 15.
But remember, you by 4.
Okay,
So it's 11,250.
11,250.
11,000.
So it was gonna be a 10, a 20, a 10, and a 15.
Correct.
So that's 13,007. 13, no,
No, that's the other one, that's the
Do we
other
know how
one.
to calculate
I have
The,
it. I thought I saw it
no,
different. So,
13,750?
that's what I think I said, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, are we guessing, or are we
I thought the
sure?
computer was.
Let's go
Was
with
10
me
hours?
too. I thought the computer would do that.
Can I see the,
So the scores are 10,000,
mhm.
20,000, 10,000, 15,000,
Divided by 4.
Correct.
divided by 4.
13,750.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was right.
Okay. Moving on to Casa Misericordia. Right, Casa Misericordia noted under foundations, I'm sorry, under the agency budget description and expenditures, they noted under foundations and donations a much smaller amount than what it actually is. And their funding is excellent, excellent, but they are in the millions, and we do not have that noted here. But they do get funding from organizations, which is excellent. The Guadalupe Martinez Foundation, 60,000, Kennedy Memorial Foundation, 37, Lamar Brody Vergara, 50,000, Matias Ayano, 30,000, Mercy Caritas, 20,000, Mexican Consulate, nothing, miscellaneous donations for 313,000. PNC, 45,000, South Texas Outreach, 10,000, United Way, 49,000. Women's City Club, 106,000. Violence Against Women, 56,000. Webb County ARP, 75,000. Third-party funding from Webb County. So, and there's more. There's much more. Sanchez Family, South Texas Outreach, and others. So again, there's funding that was not noted.
Yeah.
And their request is for salaries 23,700, and their salary amount is 130,000. It just does not note, number one, what position, and if you look at it, they also have carryover
Right.
and net assets at the end of the year, 4,694,000. So in my opinion, and my scoring, even though I scored him healthy on the application process, my scoring on the funding does not reflect the application process scoring. So for that reason, I'm going to say 0. Because of the funds that were not noted, and also because of the healthy budget available and finances available for the following year. Priscilla, are you ready or not?
No, not yet.
Okay. Cynthia?
Let me just, I'm still, my mind is still spinning. If you don't mind
Okay.
passing me, please?
Ms. Diaz? Do you want to see anything that I have as,
No,
Okay.
I'm just trying to.
Ms. Diaz?
I'll go with 0.
Adrian?
5,000.
I'm not forgetting Stella.
Thank you. Again, my question is, are those the grants that they have, like guaranteed again?
They apply for grants every year, and as far as the research is concerned, I'm going past on what they've provided. But here, 2024, you're showing property and equipment. They're able to provide fiscal assets for the year of 2023, 3,598,000. We can only base it, so I'm gonna go with their trend
Yes.
and their history, so that's all we can answer. We cannot.
Right,
Right.
oh, well, yeah, I'm just saying, if they're mentioning that we're gonna get this grant or this other grant, but they're not saying that anywhere in the application. And what were they asking the money for?
Oh,
Just the salary?
yeah, salaries and benefits, employee benefits.
Oh, okay. I'll go for 5,000.
Priscilla?
5,000.
I'll say 0.
Cynthia?
0.
2,000. 1,042? Do I just put that as exact?
142, 2,142.
So it would be
143, 2,000.
It would be 05505. So total is 15,000 recommended, 2 or zeros. So you divide the 15,000 by 4?
That's
By
3.
7.
By
6.
by
6.
by 6, I'm sorry, by 6.
2,000.
15,000 by 6.
2,500.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving along to our next one. We're talking about Catholic Charities Diocese of Laredo. This is the one that was the wrong application. It was for the hotel motel.
How
No,
would
it's the
Catholic
opposite.
charities be in tourism?
No, that was 0. They put them on the right, on the
They put it in the
hotel,
wrong
and
one.
we
They
took
put it under
off
hotel
the
motel.
and spent it over here.
But still did the homework, and I think it's very hard for us because we know that these organizations are good organizations, but when they don't provide us the information requested, it's forcing us to go in and look at
Yes.
what is available, and we're finding out more than what we even anticipated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if that would have been disclosed, maybe we would have been able to be ready for it and do some more research. Okay, so they noted 147,000 in fundraising, donations, etc. They are asking us, City of Laredo, for 17,000. The 17,000 that they want is for equipment 10,000 for food restock and 5,000 for medical equipment. So do you all know what they do or why they're requesting that money for? They're requesting that money for medication, prescription for
Right.
citizens that cannot afford to pay for it. But they're also a very healthy organization, and which is good. They also did bring in 3 million, almost 3 million, and their net assets for the funds were 2,753 million, current year 297,000, which was, they're showing the trend. So the prior and the current. So you see that that's very close to the 2,700,000. They do have grants as well, which is kudos to them. They come from a big entity. Total grants allotted were, I wasn't able to print it all out. Total, I was not able to print everything out, so I'd like to have that information to back it up. But Bethany, this is not
Catholic,
correct
yeah.
one, it's Catholic, so I'll take this one out. I kind of felt that this one was correct. I'm gonna say that based on the information that was reviewed, I pretty much felt that they're strongly supported as well. And they're doing a good job, they're providing medication to the people that need it, but they do have a healthy budget available to them, and which I felt was not gonna support their full amount that they were asking for. Even though I was torn about that, I felt that 10,000 for food restock is that for distribution, because they did have a lot of write-offs, and they did have grants that I'm not able to, I can't pinpoint them if you want me to, but it's kind of consuming. They had, for example, accounts payable and accrued, organization assets with donors, 2,753,000 for donations and donors. So it tells us that they have a net asset fund of 3,187,000. It's a tough one. I mean,
I'm gonna recommend 0.
okay. Adrian Zever. Ms. Davis?
Also 0.
Cynthia?
Zero.
Priscilla?
I'm gonna recommend 5,000. Because they didn't have a complete application. Very
Yes.
thorough.
Stella?
5,000. Because I know the price of medications is so high.
I'm gonna
And food too.
I'm gonna recommend a 0 based on what they currently have.
Yes.
So that, 0.
We have 2 5,000, right?
Yep, 2 5,000.
Divided
Who was
by
5,000 is Stella and
And Priscilla.
and Priscilla.
So 830.
1,666.
Oh, that number.
I know, I was like, can we change that?
Yes, exactly.
I'll recommend.
I like to recommend, I'm gonna change my recommendation
Yes.
to $500.
Para que balance ahí.
Yes.
Para que-
Do we do better?
200. How much?
And Catholic charity.
I couldn't hand over a
No,
check.
I know.
1,700.
Yeah?
17, is that what it comes out to?
1700.
Okay.
Was it 50? Yeah.
Okay.
1750.
Now we're Christians.
Uh-huh.
That was scary. Okay, the Catholic charities, that was it. Okay, now we're gonna go to the children advocacy.
Madam Chair, may I just interrupt you before we move on to that? And just for clarification purposes, I know you said we're on YouTube and people are listening. The clarification on the point when you say that the material that you're presenting to us here as a committee and that you researched, so that was above and beyond the application, is that, no? Is that
It is
correct?
above and beyond the
It
application
was beyond the
because
application.
it doesn't note that. They did not note anything on the application where it is asking, they noted United Way 20,000 and they noted other donations at 75,000. But I am familiar with the disbursement of certain entities, so I knew that in there was a discrepancy. So because I felt that there was a discrepancy, I wanted to see if indeed there was a discrepancy. And I'm saying that maybe they just felt that by attaching the information for the 990, that should have sufficed, but the application is not complete then, and you're not giving us the full disclosure. You did in some, but not in others, and I think it's just a practice that needs to be visited with, and that they need to know that when we say fundraisers, we're asking
For
for,
details.
yeah,
Yes.
for 2025 and
Yes.
2026, and nothing is noted.
Right, no, I agree, I was just wanted to make sure that, whoever was listening.
Me too.
To listen to this, won't get
Because
it all
it's-
confused, like, what do you mean that you research additionally? Well,
Which
yes,
is what they
because,
attach.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am,
You're welcome.
sorry.
Children advocacy. Children's advocacy, in my opinion, because it's on my scoring, they give a lot of, for example, the general application, I give them a 10. The needs statement was a 5 because it did not support the funding request. The list of the programs was a 5 because detailed information as to their services was short. Goals and objectives were defined. Request for salaries for funding is not a qualifier in the amount that they requested. Excellent in partnerships and detail. And I'm not trying to lead anyone's score, I'm just reading mine. But what I noticed about them, which is another great program, I mean, that one is so needed in our community. The mistake that was made was on the page where it says agency budget description, all expenditures, they are requesting the full amount for salary, 100% for salary, and we cannot do that. So it would have to be 25% of the 60,000. They have a healthy budget, but we do know that total revenues over $1 million, and they did note everything that was supposed to be noted. So for that reason, I want to give them the 25% of their salary. That's my recommendation for the amount. And so 60,000 times 25% is 15,000. 60,000, is that correct?
Yeah, the request is 60,000.
So my vote is for 15,000.
I guess also to mention, I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead, Mr. Lance, my
Sorry.
turn.
So I would also want to give them 25%, but 25% of, can we really give them 25% of what they requested, even though the cap was 25,000?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
was thinking the same thing.
I mean, I looked at 25% of 25,000, and that'd be 6,250.
So the rule described, and I did ask for that, the first time we did that, was it says 25% for salaries, not the 25% available budget. It's for salaries. And they're applying specifically for the salary funding, not the general application funding. Now, if you want to base it on the general application, that's different. But my scoring is based on what they strictly noted that they wanted the money for. So because of that, I went with the 25% of that salary needed. Does that explain it?
Which
I
was,
would,
Which was 15,000.
okay, so can I'm gonna give my, number.
Yes,
Which
yes.
would be 6,250, and that's only because.
62 what?
6,250.
Oh, sure.
Which would be 25% of the 25,000, only because I do see other agencies that are requesting higher than the 25,000, and
Yeah.
we're not considering that, so that would be.
Respect that, absolutely. Cynthia?
I'll say 5,000. But then again, it bothers me too that they just cut and paste
Copy and
from
paste,
last year's
yeah.
application.
That's what
Mine.
bothers me.
That's bothering me,
This, the effort is very limited on,
yeah.
Ms. Diaz?
I'll do 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna, after further consideration, mine is gonna be 10 as well. Adrian?
5,000.
Stella?
10.
So you have 30, and then 10 is 40,000. You have 4,000, 40,000, 46,250 divided by 6. You already have the total?
Yes,
Okay. What would the average be?
7,708 with 33 cents.
Gateway Pride Association. I mean, I don't wanna go over my scoring, because I don't want that to affect everyone, but I will just let you know what the,
So can we, there's no way that we can take off the cents on the children's advocacy and say just 7,708 or 700? It looks weird, 33 cents. I don't know, it's just me. My numbers are just.
got it? Ms. Accountant?
Yeah.
Is that good?
No, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I wouldn't put it the 33 cents
Yeah.
because, but then that's fine.
Gateway City Pride Association, in reviewing their application, they requested 5,000. So when you read their needs assessment and other information, they're talking about where they wanted to disperse that money. However, when you read the description on the budget for the expenditures defining where they were gonna go, it didn't support what we were hoping it would support in my case. And it wanted, the money, that 5,000 was for 600, for one event. $650 for the meter, 100 for the barricades, 810 for portable bathrooms, solid waste 540, application fee with the city, I'm sure it's 100, insurance 800, security 2,200, that's 5,000. I would have liked to have read for mental support, for mental education, and not for an event and the cost of the event. They do raise some, they did, efforts for fundraising were minimal. They only had one effort for fundraising, and that was for foundation grants of 2024-25, none noted for 25-26. I am going to go with my assessment, and for one event, and it's a parade in the downtown area, and it's not a supporting group, because I was very interested in seeing, I'm gonna score 0.
I disagree with you. I think it is all about support and inclusivity. So I totally, I'm gonna
Go with the
support
5.
with the 5,000. Because all those are real expenses that they're gonna have to make.
For the parade.
For the parade,
Right.
because that's the point of the parade.
The
Is
parade.
inclusivity and
Okay.
making them feel
An event.
included. And yes, but it's for, there's a purpose for the event. It's not just a party.
Okay. Priscilla, are you ready or not?
Yes, I'd like to go with 3,000, only because, one of the things that they mentioned in the application is that they track, attendees and participants through, I guess, registration or surveys, but they're not included. And really, that goes with any organization. I would like to see
Yeah.
that supporting, documentation.
Which you liked in almost all of them, but, Cynthia? Thank you, Priscilla.
Yeah, I'll go with 3 as well.
Thank you. Ms. Davis?
I'm gonna do 5.
Adrian?
I think 4,000.
3,333.
Okay.
Well,
Three,
but
three,
your
three.
threes.
All right, that one stays that way. I'm not changing anything. Okay, Imagineering of South Texas. The Imagineering of South Texas application provided a financial statement, assets ending year of $585,000 for the end of the year for 2023. And then a repeated net funding balance of $654,000 for 2023. They do have excellent partnerships. They did note that the funding that they were requesting was going to be a total of $10,000. They did note their grants, United Way Foundation grants, donations, and fundraisers. And they also make revenue out of the sale of merchandise. it was very detailed and specific, so the request that they are making is for 10,000 at the bottom, even though here they wrote double. They wrote 20,000.
Yeah.
If you look for the bottom, it notes 10,000. Because of that, I'm gonna award 10,000, my recommendation. Priscilla?
I would, I was just trying to make sure on one thing, but I too would award the 10,000. I mean, can't get enough books.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Cynthia?
application
I'll say with a 10.
Ms. Diaz?
is 10.
Adrian?
Yeah, 10.
Stella?
10.
No, we know what the average is. Okay. The Kidney Foundation. The Kidney Foundation provided information. They needed the needs assessment, and the programs and services provided was transportation assistance program. It helps the patients on dialysis. They provide transportation through Metro, Aguila, and lift services. Performance measures, they were exact. Issue 2,000 tickets per quarter El Metro, 200 El Aguila, and they paid for 10 patients.
That's a lot.
And they paid for 10 patients in need of a lift per quarter. The reimbursement, gas expense for 10 patients quarterly trip, they get that. They do benefit organizations, so they partner. The partnerships are really well considered. They do have an effort, and they do create those solid partnerships. They are requesting the 15,000. They provided their funding, and for that reason, and the needs request, even though there were some glitches in the general application, some information was missing, goals and objectives were somewhat limited. I think it was clearly noted on the service provided where the foundation helps and where the money was gonna go to. So for that reason, I would recommend the 10,000.
Do we know how they spent those?
You're requesting 15.
I'm seeing 10,000 here.
Kidney
Oh,
Foundation.
15, I'm sorry. The 15,000.
Do we know how they expend their funds? They didn't show in the report. no?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, they should,
It's here, they actually want to, which is pretty much,
Well, no, but that's what the comments here. And when I first read it, I went into here and said, okay.
they did
Yes,
not, it's all
that they're not-
transportation.
That they're not, that they didn't show how
But-
they
but-
spent their funds.
But, right, I mean, that's what I was saying, that there was some information on the general. That's why the scoring was, do you go with the application or do you go with the need? So that's where we go back and forth.
Yes.
But knowing that they defined the service provided,
Right.
I feel like,
Well, and their performance measures were based on the El Metro sheet.
yeah,
or
several.
So
There were,
there's some sort of
there
accountability.
was,
that
well, there was
goes-
accountability because they took a picture of it and they provided that information. Priscilla?
I'd say the full amount. I mean, it ultimately comes back to the city.
Mm-hmm. Cynthia?
Likewise, 15.
Yes.
Ms. Diaz?
15 as well.
Adrian?
15.
15 it is.
Miss Stella?
No, I
She
said
said
15.
15, yeah.
She said it, she said it. I heard it, I heard this. Okay, moving along. Laredo Main Street.
From the one with the heat.
Laredo Heat.
Oh. Okay, somewhere in here. Please bear with me, let me look for it. Well, maybe it's not here, but I can tell you I probably know it by memory. I don't know. Okay, Laredo Main Street.
No, Laredo Heat.
Laredo Heat.
Oh, Laredo Heat, I have Laredo Heat right here. Okay, I apologize. Laredo Heat, they requested funds of 30,000, I believe, 25,000. And it was 10,000 for insurance, 10,000 for utilities, and 5,000 for transportation. They did also provide their revenue that they get from other sources. Foundation grant 17,000, donations 265,000, fundraisers 0, and so they were pretty transparent with that. I do know in reviewing their application and knowing that they also applied under the hotel motel with the youth, one of the things that in the needs statement stood out to me is they literally do improve the quality of life in Laredo by offering an entity for entertainment that we lack. Their actual information was proven to be accurate. Goals and objectives did support the request for the funding. And the partnerships were complete in my review, and the revenue expenditures did support what they were requesting. So for that reason, which is only the few that I'm doing this to, I would say that I would rate it at 25,000 because what it takes to offer that service and that other entertainment avenue, which does have a cost affiliated with it. So I am going to vote on the 25,000.
Plus they don't get money from anybody else.
They do get from third-party funding, but it's
That's
minimal.
very minimal.
Correct. So I'm gonna start with you this time. Make up.
Yes, I'll go with the full amount,
Okay.
25,000.
Adrian,
25,000.
Ms. Diaz,
20.
okay. Cynthia,
20.
and Priscilla. Mm-hmm. Again, 23, 33, we like the threes.
Oh, I gotta go buy me a lotto ticket.
Yeah, I'll go with you. Okay, and I think we're next with Laredo Main Street.
That's correct.
Okay, so Laredo Main Street. Laredo Main Street, they do have, I'm gonna start with that, carryover balance of 27,000, which is not
Yeah,
bad.
that's very low.
It's very low. It's not great, but at least they have a carryover balance and they're not in the negative. They are requesting 55,000. Actually,
It says that we're
They're
requesting
requesting
90, but the
90.
max is
25.
25.
wait, what am I looking at? Give me a second. Civic Laredo 55. Oh, yeah, total 90. I'm sorry, I don't have a 90. Where are you? No, I'm looking at the application.
Oh, okay.
I have 55,000
There's
here.
a typo here.
The Webb County is 40,000. The application notes 55,000. They do give you a breakdown where the 55,000 is going to go. So from the 75 total payroll, it's 25,000.
Was that 90,000?
I have on the application 55,000. I'm gonna go by what the application states.
But anyway, the cap is 25.
Right,
right?
Check.
It's 55, just check.
Do you have any more plates?
Yes, and napkins, do you have plates? And
Yes, of
napkins?
course.
You did? Thank
And
you.
napkins. Por favor.
Do we continue?
While she's
While
straightening
she's-
it out.
Huh?
While she's pulling that
While she's
information,
confirming.
she's getting some information.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
For information.
what they
Because
asked
about
for.
if it was a 55 or
It's
90.
90,000.
That's
So
It
requested
is
90,
90,000.
but on the application it says 55. We have to honor I'm looking at the.
What?
Where?
No, no.
You're looking at the revenues.
Yeah,
You're looking at this one.
Okay.
90.
What is the application?
So I have it.
I don't know.
The following.
Thank you for catching that. Thank you, everybody. Wow. Okay, the breakdown, the breakdown, gosh, I don't know that. The breakdown says City of Laredo, 55,000. And the way that they support the 90,000 in the bottom, yeah. The way that they support it is 25,000 through payroll, which is 25%, right? Advertisement is 20,000, office supplies 2,000, event supplies 10,000, insurance 3,000, dues and fees 5,000, and contractual services 25,000. Their goals and objectives and performance measures, they serve and work with 3 organizations per month to revitalize attendance in the downtown area. The events, are you all okay?
Yeah,
The events allow for them to increase traffic in the downtown area, such as the farmers market once a month and Jambusi Festival once a year, which bringing in 3,500. Partner with Mile One Incubator to start programs in April, taking measures on business helping, for other performance measures. They were pretty much partnering with the CBD. For that reason, I am going to recommend 15,000.
They were asking for payroll and what else?
They're to support, so they have one big event, but they want to do advertisement 20,000. I personally did not see the advertisement breakdown, but advertisement 20,000, office supplies 2,000, event supplies 10,000. I didn't see the breakdown for that, but anyway.
I know I physically see it.
Jambusi.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, the Jambusi,
Yeah.
and social media and all, but,
Yeah.
and been to them as well.
Right.
Yes,
And
me too.
they also, what I had a question of, but I guess it's really not gonna be applicable, is, I guess they also have other source of revenue, which is the gate, and they pretty much provided that. Foundation grants, fundraisers, fees and dues. So, for that reason, I'm gonna score them at 15,000.
I think they also have to have the money up front to hire the bands that are gonna come and all that.
Right.
So I'm gonna go with the whole amount, the 25,000.
Okay. Adrian,
I'm gonna go with 25,000 as well.
Ms. Diaz,
20,000?
15.
20. 20,000.
okay, total is 20?
Yes.
No?
Please, yay.
We're doing good with time here. Does anybody want a break?
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, we finished this
Okay,
speech.
Laredo Philharmonic? Laredo Philharmonic, is another qualifier of life, if you will, entertainment in Laredo. They do base everything on fundraising. They, however, they did request from the city a total of 25,000. Can we confirm that? Yes. And the 25,000 was to be supporting funding for concert 1, 2, 3, and 4. But during the research in concert 2 and 3, there were usually locals from TAMU, UISD, LISD, and LC. So I couldn't justify the 10,000 for some of those, the Christmas concert definitely, but the 5,000 for another 2 concerts, in my opinion, based on the bands that they have and the facility, I felt that we needed a little bit more support and more information as to why the 5,000 when you have a lot of local entertainers and everybody's in volunteer basis and expenses are extremely minimal. You don't
Didn't
have
they
those-
mention, excuse me, didn't they mention that they were bringing in some?
That's
some,
gonna be, out of the 2
musicians?
events, they have the Fiesta Sinfónica, Music of the Old and New Worlds, and it's a concierto para Requinto Jarocho to broaden our offerings. Doesn't say anything about out of town. The 7, I'm going from the bottom up.
Uh-huh.
The 7 Last Words of Christ, it's an orchestra for the Easter season, and it's from UISD, LISD, TAMU, LC, and Chorale's community members. The third,
It's like an all-star team, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
it's an
essentially.
all-star, they're fantastic.
Yeah, they're great.
The second one's also supported for local, but not in cost, it doesn't identify the cost. And then the other one is going to be for the Christmas. So, because of that, my recommendation from the 25,000 is going to be 15,000. Stella?
I thought they had mentioned they were bringing in somebody, like some famous musician or something somewhere. I thought I had seen something like that, but.
The request is made to partially cover the expenses of musicians that are brought to Laredo to supplement the orchestra. We have developed our website, but, I mean,
Okay, well, I'll go with 20,000.
I'm gonna go with 20,000 as well.
I'm gonna do 10, I'm sorry.
Adrian, 20,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Diaz,
10?
Cynthia,
10.
Priscilla,
15.
15,000.
okay, Laredo Regional Food Bank. Laredo Regional Food Bank scores were, information, defined needs, pretty much everything was completed. They, based on their application that was printed here, they're requesting, please correct the amount, they're requesting 30,000, is that correct? Okay, and the 30,000 would be for 12,670 for insurance. So it's expenditures to operate, operation expenditures. So they requested at the very bottom a total 30,000 as per their notes. But because of that, and they did request the 30,000, I'm gonna recommend the 25,000.
I agree with that, 25,000.
Yeah, 20,000 for me.
Ms. Hayes,
25,000.
Cynthia?
I agree, they're a small, up-and-coming
Yeah,
food
this is
bank.
food that's going up in price.
Mhm.
25.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hayes, how much did you say? 25?
25,
Okay,
correct.
Cynthia?
25.
Yeah, I'm gonna amend my number 25 as well, because it's the small one.
It's a small
It's the small one, they do.
They're very limited on what they
Yeah.
receive, and everything they get, they have to work for.
Yeah.
Yes.
And their director was just,
Yeah.
the director that is noted on the application, because I don't know who they have now, she was honored by the county for an excellent job based on the funds that she had. Priscilla, I'm sorry, did you say 25?
Yes.
So, is it 25,333? Just
25.
trying to wake up everybody. That's fine. All right, you all just holler whenever everybody wants to stop and take a break.
How many,
Okay.
why don't we finish these two and then we can take a break?
Two more? Are we good?
Any
All
more on
right.
this? You still left?
Laredo Stroke Support. Laredo Stroke Support, an excellent needs assessment report. They were clear on the funding and grants that they were collecting. They're, correct me if I'm wrong, they are requesting 25,000,
That's correct.
okay? They are asking for art classes for healing, for mental support for those people affected by strokes. They are asking for physical therapy, 5,000, and speech therapy, 15,000. Because of that, I do vote for the full amount.
I agree, Joe. I go for the full amount.
Me too, 25,000.
Okay, I'm gonna start putting initials. Stella, 25. Adrian, 25. Ms. Diaz?
25.
Cynthia?
25.
Priscilla? 25,000 it is. Laredo Tennis Association, and then we're gonna take a break, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Laredo Tennis Association. As much as I love the sport, I played it a lot. What I wanted to see was the funds to be used for helping other children and other members of the population learn to play tennis. Give them classes to play better tennis. something that would include a community that was maybe interested in it and wanted to learn and didn't have anywhere to go, and that would be available to them. But what I did see and review, nothing taken away from them, was that their request of 25,000, please correct me, is that correct?
Yes.
Was going for contract labor of 4,000, equipment of 1,750, executive salary 12,500, which has to be rectified to 9,250, which is a qualifying amount. Insurance, program supplies, and utilities. I felt that it lacked an invitation to the community. You have your players, and your players will find entities to go and play, and all that is great because you're providing them some support. But a population that could be interested, there's no outreach to that, and I was hoping that it would embrace it. For that reason, I'm gonna recommend 15,000.
I thought they did mention that they do help the young kids with the tennis.
It was very limited.
Very, very
It was
limited.
very
Very
limited.
limited.
Yes,
And it was not with classes,
Yeah.
actually, it was for something,
Yeah.
it was not.
No, it wasn't class.
Mhm.
Okay, well, what was your recommendation?
Mine's gonna be 15.
Yes, I'll agree with that, 15,000.
Adrian?
Yeah, I thought it was also, I thought the application was lacking a lot of things.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go 2,500.
2,500.
It was lacking a lot of things.
God,
Ms. Davis?
can I skip? I'm still.
Okay, Cynthia,
Process.
you're processing?
No, I said,
Yeah.
This is processing, trying to process and trying to remember everything that I read and saw, and
Yes.
I forgot my
So,
notes.
just to kind of
It
go
was missing
over
a lot of
it, the
things.
executive director acts as the face of the organization liaison between the public and the organization. The coordinator schedules planning and all Laredo Tennis Association events. The tennis requires certain equipment that must be updated and replaced periodically. In addition to the LTA's adult tennis socials, the Rising Stars Juniors have a clinic. LTA offers unique adaptive tennis programs, including tennis for stroke survivors. And that was great outreach. This program has become increasingly popular therapeutic outlet for individuals in our community. However, adaptive programs require additional tools and specialization in equipment. It does host a scholarship, but we're not involved with scholarships. And the variety of audiences LTA serves has contributed to the increase in the program supplies that are needed. A dozen children of all abilities are invited to participate in a safe, enjoyable tennis event by making it open. Refreshments, water, Gatorade, fruit, and snacks for each event are necessary to reinforce LTA's value of good health. The addition of Tammy Youth Tennis Courts is exciting, and that's supported by Tammy Youth. Their budget, donations are $10,045. Foundation grants are $12,425. Fundraisers are $375. So that's what I can provide you with. Keep in mind that the 25,000 cannot be the 25,000 because of the disqualifier percentage in the salary. So that would have to be adjusted if anybody wanted to go to that amount. But right now, we're sticking around numbers.
I think, since it did mention that they do help kids and they do help stroke victims, I am gonna amend mine to 20,000.
20, okay. Adrian, staying at 2?
2,500, yeah.
Yeah. Ms. Diaz?
1,000.
1,000.
I can't go higher than that.
That's all right. Cynthia?
Yeah, 2,500.
2,500. And Priscilla?
I'm gonna do 3,000.
7,333.
No way. Look at that is.
Okay, I'm gonna amend mine a little bit. Is that okay? I'm gonna go.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with 14,200.
7,200.
7,200.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. Are we taking a small break?
Yeah.
We have two motions.
You have to motion to recess,
Uh,
and then we start
Okay, I'd like to
recording.
make a motion that we take a break,
For
a 5-minute, I'm sorry?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
A 5-minute break or 10-minute break? 10-minute break? A 10-minute break, and we will continue it when we come back on the 10-minute
I
break.
second the motion.
All right.
Wanna
I
say
have
something?
two words to make.
No, I already started recording.
I believe Mercy Ministries is next?
Yes.
Okay. And they did mention their purpose. They were clear on their purpose. The amount of the grant, correct me if I'm wrong, 21,000? It is, the purpose is going to be for medication assistance as well. And they provide medication to patients, and they don't charge them for it. They pretty much went into the value of their needs. Provide access to assist with applicants' pharmaceutical programs and discount pharmacies. Submit approximately 1,100 applications per year. The value of the medications received from the pharmaceutical companies total 1.2 million, even though they get that at cost. And they noted the cost that they would get that, which was great. Mercy will assist 200 unduplicated patients with the purchase of medications not available through pharmaceutical companies and programs. And we had something similar earlier. The difference here is that I didn't have a chance to be honest with you, I did not have a chance to look at other resources, but they have foundation grants of 70,000, fees and dues of 2,700. They raised about 131,000, plus our request, they're requesting 21,000. The 21,000 is not coded as prescription drug medication, it's coded for drugs. And so, but in essence, to the subject that we are talking about, my concern was what kind of drugs? Are you trying to give them drugs so they don't, like morphine, so they don't have withdrawals and all that? But I feel like that's none of our concern. I think that when they say drugs, it's gonna be the medication as described for patients that cannot afford it. So because of that, their net assets for the year, for the following year, was $38,868. 38,000, sorry, 38 million. 38 million.
Do they?
$868,622. Because of that, even though I was passionate about the cost, and even though I saw the cost of $130,464, because that's what they brought it to, down to from the $1.4 million that they could have been billed, I felt that you have a pretty healthy fund backup. And even though your job is amazing, these funds would not deviate or interfere with the funding available for you. Because of that, I'm going to say 0.
Where did those millions come from?
All the fundraising they do.
All the fundraising, 38,680,000. They have a lot of grants, which are not noted.
Okay, that's what I was asking, because I didn't see the grant.
Yeah, they were not noted. See, they noted 131,000, but going into the
Yeah.
Yeah,
reports, it was like, going into the 990,
yes.
under the IRS, go to the
I saw
990,
that, yeah.
and you're gonna see them all there. Okay, Stella, you still thinking about it?
Yes.
Okay, Adrian?
0.
Ms. Diaz?
Also 0.
Cynthia?
0.
Priscilla?
0.
0.
Okay. The balance
That's what I was
is
thinking.
0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. Mexican Culture Institute of Laredo is going to be the next
It's
one.
one of the outlets, right?
No. It's in the
It's
Master-
a mini-
They do have events at the outlet.
Yeah, but don't they have like
They
a,
have events. They used to have like a
Like
an office?
banquet.
no, that's not the same one?
No es parte del consulado mexicano. Eso yo tengo.
Sí, es parte.
Sí, digo,
Sí,
no,
es parte.
yo sé.
Pero no, oficina no.
No.
They were using that facility for events.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
you.
So it's MCIL, the Mexican Cultural Institute. and they are key objectives to contribute to the growth of tourism from nearby regions, including Monterrey and Nuevo Laredo and the surrounding areas of Laredo. All right, by organizing high-quality cultural events. They also have the institute that they have for the cultural events is to attract visitors who do not only engage with Mexican traditions, but also support the local economy. Many of these guests stay in hotels, which is not applicable, but okay, which is the same application or the same means that was used for the previous application. Laredo's reputation as a cultural hub in promoting international exchange is supported with these initiatives, a cornerstone commitment to education and cultural awareness, and it is an annual international drawing contest which engages more than 1,200 children from Laredo. The initiative promotes Hispanic heritage on a global scale, with winning entries being featured in the prestigious Este es Mi Mexico print calendar. In addition to that, it has exhibited worldwide throughout the network of Mexican embassies and consulates, granting increased visibility to Laredo and its young artists. They also are main participants, one of the main participants in the Grito, which is held September the 15th at the Plaza San Agustin. Through these dynamic programs and ongoing cultural events, we remain at forefront in preserving and promoting Mexican culture in Laredo. Their money, correct me if I'm wrong, request is $15,000.
Correct.
Correct.
Their $15,000 would go for promotion, $1,000, promotional materials, $1,000, $5,000 for entertainment, $1,000 for contract labor, sound system rental of $4,000. I felt it was steep, but communication equipment, $500, and other operating expenses like decorations and insurance. Total would be $15,000. I'm familiar with the event. I've participated in the event. Hotel Motel Association used to pay the expenses for the music entertainment, and it transferred to the hotel entities, where the Grito was a La Posada, when they would stand on the hallway or the balcony of La Posada and cheer. The rooms were sponsored to the special guests at no cost. However, I don't remember who was paying for the mariachis. I don't remember who was paying for the food, but there were combined sponsorships. Therefore, I would recommend $5,000.
I agree with that, 5,000.
That's what I was gonna say, also 5,000.
Ms. Diaz?
5,000 as well.
Cynthia?
5.
Priscilla?
5.
And the average is? 5.
.333.
No, please. Okay. Pets Alive. Pets Alive's application was, in my opinion, and after reviewing some of the details that were available, was completed. His general application was completed, but I'm gonna check something right now. Their historical narrative needs statement is defined, and list of programs, goals and objectives, partnerships, and revenue expenditures. They are asking for $25,000, and the Pets Alive needs statement says it is dedicated and committed to giving shelter to pets at a second change in life. They accomplish this by transporting shelter pets to rescue organizations who are dedicated to placing shelter pets in fosters to adopt from the shelter and transport it to other rescue organizations. Opens up the room for stray dogs in our city, which we have a lot. In essence, when we transport one dog, we are saving 2 lives. PALS, it's in its 3rd year of conducting free vaccine clinics throughout the city of Laredo, which that tells me the city of Laredo sponsors it. But they are the ones that do organize it. If PALS is awarded money from the city of Laredo third-party funding, the funds will give us the opportunity to continue saving the stray and shelter pets, transporting them out of Laredo throughout U.S. and Canada. Funds awarded would help cover vaccine, microchip cost, and allow PAL to offer low-cost spay and neuter to community pets, along with covering veterinaries expenses for shelters and street strays going to transport. City of Laredo, $25,000 amount has been confirmed. they would use that 3,000 for vaccines, which I questioned because I thought it was a partnership with the city, but it doesn't support it, so I didn't know. The veterinary expenses were 20,000, which it's here, so I would say that's all I have to support it. Transportation fuel, 1,000, and microchips, 1,000, totaling 25,000. My recommendation is going to be 20,000.
My recommendation is 25,000. I feel it's a quality of life issue for Laredo. We have a lot of stray
Stray
animals, and these are getting spayed and neutered, and they're getting the vaccines or whatever they're getting. And I think the cost for the vets is very high.
I was noting that.
Even with this one little thing, it can cost you 3,000 easily. So 20,000 I thought was a low number for
For the
the
request.
number of pets that they take care of, and then they export them to other places. So I'm gonna go with the 25.
Thank you. Donations, I'm sorry, I did not mention, 24,000 in fundraising efforts, 22,000. So they do put out an effort for that.
There's no 990 forms for
I'm sorry?
990.
No, there was no,
Right.
I didn't find it.
So,
I wasn't, I mean,
yeah.
when you look for it and it's not there, I'm going, okay, is it a glitch? Or are they not there? Adrian?
22,500.
Okay. Ms. Reyes, 25,000.
53.
Cynthia
20.
and Priscilla.
I'll do 23. Yeah.
It's all a good
You said
deal.
22,500.
It's a meeting. Yeah.
And Priscilla, 23?
Yes.
Correct, so it's 22,583.33.
You could have mine at 23,000. See it?
Another 3?
23 on yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Adrian, you're at 22,500? Okay, I'll do 20,250.
20,250?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is, are we
It's
good?
gonna be
22,625.
How much?
22,625.
I did have a question, and I was gonna ask you, because you do provide the reimbursements. Do they show, have you denied anybody?
We do return some, yes.
So that doesn't mean that they might be asking for that, but if it's a non-qualifier, they don't get it?
Correct.
Okay, so
Yes,
that
we
makes
do
everybody
verify.
at peace.
Yeah.
Okay, Rio Grande International Study Center. Excellent in fundraising. Confirm the amount requesting is 25,000? Okay. Mission statement to preserve and protect the Rio Grande, Rio Bravo, its watershed and environment through awareness, advocacy, research, education, stewardship by national collaboration for the benefit of present and future generations. In the services provided, 10 points, by National River Conservation Project, please see attachment. This is one of the applications that was extremely time consuming. If the application says to put that information there, take the time, in my opinion, and summarize it, and don't make us search the 100+ pages that you have provided because you could not summarize it. So, for me, it was an incomplete application, even though it provided excellent information. With attachments, it was extremely time consuming. And that was not what we requested. Does the application specify that if it doesn't fit in the page, you include attachments?
It does, right? It says, please attach for additional documents.
But nothing was on the.
Not, other than see attachment on services provided.
I usually always tell them to put another copy of the same page with the.
You do tell them, so this is to me incomplete. I'm sorry, and this is like making everybody aware of that. For the goals and objectives, please see attachment. Okay. Agency budget description and expenditures, excellent job in fundraising, 932,000, almost $1 million. But estimated for 2025-26, 1,764,000. City of Laredo, 34,000. What they are asking to be funded from the City of Laredo is 4,000 for employee wages, 500 for payroll taxes, payroll fringe benefits, 500, 1,000 for travel, 2,000 for ads and promo, 1,000 for office supplies, 1,000 for meals, foods and refreshments, I guess to events, doesn't specify. Computer hardware, 0. Professional services, 15,000. Occupancy cost, and the rest is 0. So the professional services, you have to see attached. And it was, for me, having to go and look at where we were. So I decided, let me look at their expenditures and let me look at their assets. And I found net assets at the end of the year for 2023, $192,101.06. So that told me that, and I have a schedule of fundraising efforts, and their schedule is pretty well defined. They didn't refrain from providing any information. They do excellent efforts. Because of the available balance that it shows on this report, and I'm hoping that all of this is correct and we can base it on that, because of the information that we are given, I am going to say that they have enough funding for what they're asking for. So
Did it
as
specify what professional services were?
I think they.
you see attached, you have
Yeah.
to see attached.
They hire people to do testing of
Well, they also
water
do-
and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they have doctors and professors or whatever, doctors or.
Ensure that ecology restoration remains central to the economic development. 12 meetings annually with key stakeholders and City of Laredo officials. Regular engagement with municipal planning. They do a lot of efforts to keep the environment clean and the water and the air clean, especially with what's going on in Laredo coming out with a high risk of cancer in certain areas of our city. But it's at the cost of what? There's mostly just awareness, public awareness. And their money is going to keeping the, from what I understand, keeping the water clean, keeping the air, trying to preserve nature, etc.
But I do believe they do a lot of advocacy, legal advocacy, or, with the government
Partnerships,
officials.
are you talking about partnerships? U.S. Department of Agriculture. Support ecology restoration and conservation work through Las Palmas Restoration Project, improving habitat, water retention, and resilience in Laredo. The Rio Vida Coalition strengthens grassroots advocacy efforts for public water security.
But I'm talking about,
Finances.
like lawsuits and stuff like that. That
Okay.
they have to,
So,
they have to
I was
hire,
told that
like professionals for
Services.
advice.
that is not a qualifier.
Like for border wall stuff.
Yeah.
That is not political. and
No,
we're
no.
told that political is
Yeah, but I'm
not.
not saying we're gonna fund that. I'm saying that they have to use some of that money for that.
They don't have to because they have a healthy budget. They have
That's what you're saying.
$39,000 in fundraising income.
That's what you're saying, right?
That's what I'm saying. They can use that money for
Yeah.
other things.
Yes.
But this money would be for the things that they're asking for.
But they can use that, what my criteria is, they already have money
Mhm.
that could be used for what they're asking for. And we're in a shortage this year. So because of that, they have 191,000 available according to the report.
Yes,
And they're asking for,
25.
25,000. Because of that, I'm gonna have to say, Stella, you start.
25,000.
Adrian,
20,000.
15.
Cynthia,
15.
Priscilla. I'm gonna go 10, because I think the budget is very healthy. And,
Oh, my God.
333?
No, 666.
Okay, I'm gonna go 9.
9.
16,500.
Your math is spot on.
It is, right?
All the time. It's so
Yeah, I
impressive.
saw it. I know it's a-
I know.
Anybody wanna change anything? Okay, moving along. Sacred Heart Orphanage.
No, it was because of
Or-
that.
I know you wanna go home, yeah.
Oh, I cannot score with Cal,
Okay.
they're my clients. So Cynthia, do you wanna,
That's fine, I mean,
You're asking 200,000,
200,000,
that is 25 is a cap anyway.
I knew there was a lot of stuff missing in their application and stuff. I know that they've been in business for 100,000 years, but,
Mhm.
you know, and the therapies that they offer and all of that. But you're also, I think they're strong as well in fundraising and have a healthy balance, so.
Do we have their 990 there?
Huh?
It's a little bit yeah, it's nice up here.
did they note their fundraising totals on the assessment? On the page where it says budget, Priscilla? And then the 990?
The 990 is here, looking for the fundraising efforts. So the first page is not, that's what it was missing.
Right.
Does it say see attachment?
This is partnerships. And I don't see fundraisers.
How many years have they got 900,000 dollars?
This is the first one.
First one.
They usually get less.
From what I understand, and correct, it might be, not be actual, but I'll get clarification, is that they're only gonna be allowed to apply 2 years in a row, from what I understood.
Yeah, it said
3
3
years in a
years.
row.
3 years.
And then after that,
One
they
year.
have to.
One year, and then
Rest
it's
of
apply.
But just some of them have been here for a long
Well,
time.
this is year one, right?
Well, they started technically, but
Yeah, this is year one.
realistically,
This is your one.
you're in the double digits with some.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
This is the one that did the 2022.
The list doesn't change year to year, like it's
Right.
usually the
The
same
same,
applicants.
and that's what the criticism was with city council,
Exactly.
that it's the same old, same
It would be
old.
nice to see other people.
Yes, exactly.
Out there.
And that's what they want to do. And number two, we are really letting them know, no, we can't accept your application efforts. They're not complete, it's gonna affect you. They've gone away with a lot and just say copy, paste and copy, and that's the fault of the organization.
Did you find that number, Priscilla?
Okay, we gotta move along.
Okay.
Cynthia, what
I
would you
should say,
like?
the 25,000.
Okay, for Ricky Cal,
Yes, ma'am.
Cynthia, 25,000. Ms. Davis,
20.
Adrian,
20,000.
Stella,
25.
Priscilla,
20. $22,000.
22,000? Okay. Moving along, I have the Sacred Heart's Children. Sacred Heart's Children. Sacred Heart's Home has existed solely to serve children who for some justified reason can't live at his or her family. The 24-hour long-term basic child care institution provides shelter, food, clothing, welfare, securing and safety. And I think we're aware what Sacred Heart
Yes,
Children
we
does,
are.
right? So they were asking from the city 15,000. I did not research any 1099s, but the travel did justify, and it was to take their living population to different events, to
Yeah.
drop them off, take them to the doctors, take
I
them
see that all
to.
the time.
Yes.
So, for that reason, I am ready to, my decision was pretty simple, and my full amount is gonna be recommended, my full amount. Their full amount, and I'm confirming to be 15,000, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I agree, 15,000 too.
Stella?
Yes, me too,
Adrian?
15.
Ms. Diaz?
15.
What's your first name?
Angie?
Angie. Is it okay if I call you Angie?
Of course.
Because I've been calling you Ms. Diaz. Okay, Cynthia?
15.
Priscilla?
15.
Simple. 15,000 it is.
Maybe there's leftover, we can come and give them another.
That's what I was
2 or
looking at.
3, yeah, 2 or 3,000 more.
They were-
They should have asked for more.
I know, but who- I mean.
But
they'll come back,
I
no?
think there's funding available.
Por eso digo,
And I think it was good, healthy funding, I just didn't make a copy of it. So they were funded well. So what they're asking for, I think, they didn't take advantage of it. They were asking for something that they identified could help.
Oh, yeah, they're helpful.
Serving serving children in adult scan. They receive government funding as well. Please confirm 13,500 is what they're requesting,
Yes.
Yes.
okay? The funds from the city of Laredo help SCAN show the community support when writing state and federal grants, so that means that they do get funding from the state and federal. Specifically, the funds will be used for SCAN substance abuse prevention, intervention, and treatment services that address several areas that strike at the core of fostering healthy family developments. In the fiscal year of 2024, SCAN provided the community with numerous services targeting over 6,000 children and 5,000 adults. SCAN is the sole provider in the Laredo of state-funded youth and adult residential treatment services and outpatient treatment services. SCAN has the only residential treatment facilities for youth and adults in the 150-mile radius. Private residential drug treatment facilities charge up to $1,000 per day. Do I need to go on?
No, we don't do that.
Okay, everybody familiar with it?
Yes, ma'am.
The 13,500 are not justified, it's just his salaries, and that is the only justification. And the salary is from a $1,441,000 salary budget. So I think that is even under the 25%. They do provide other funding and donations, $81,700 for donations, and other fees and dues, $284,234. They do not provide any information on government grants. However, with that information and familiar with the situation as how it operates, I think that the funding, in my opinion, does support the request. So for that reason, I'm going to say the full amount of 13,500.
I have a question. If they request 13,500 for salaries, but it cannot be used for that.
It can be
Can-
used, yes.
Well, but the whole 13,000 can be used for that?
Yes,
Oh,
as long as they're within the 25%.
Oh, okay, all right, then, yeah, I agree with the 13,500.
Adrian?
13,500.
13,500.
Cynthia?
Ditto.
And Priscilla?
I would say 13, only because none of their financial information was included. So 13,000.
For a total of 13,416 with 67 cents.
How much?
13,416.67.
Okay. We have only 3 more to go. Smiles from Heaven. Does everybody know what that is?
Yes.
It is for pediatric cancer. And it is new to the community. I think it's been in existence for a few years only.
Yes.
And that was created because they identified the need in children cancer when we started seeing an increase in that. The Smiles from Heaven has recently inaugurated a facility dedicated to supporting children and families impacted by pediatric cancer and blood disorders. The third-party funds would be allocated to cover the lease of the Smiles from Heaven Pediatric Cancer Center. This initiative allows the organization to expand its offerings beyond fuel and meal assistance, therefore providing comprehensive support to both pediatric cancer patients and children with blood disorders. Okay, any funding, any support for grants, fundraisers, and donations were all zero. They're asking us for 24,000.
So they listed zero?
25,000. Is 25,000 the correct amount?
Yes.
But they listed zero in the funding that they get for grants and stuff?
And I honestly did not have time to look into that one.
They've never
It's
been
a
on this
new-
list.
it's a
No,
new
no,
organization.
It's a very new
No, but I'm
organization.
talking about for like outside grants and
I
stuff?
did
Yeah,
not
that's what
see
I'm
that.
saying, maybe
How do they
because it's a
survive?
very new organization,
It-
they have not applied for anything. Maybe.
I think I know for sure that
For
they
the
have.
last 2 years, and I believe they do have.
Some grants?
Yeah, I know for sure they got the grant.
Fundraisers too.
Okay, so,
Fundraisers.
any idea of the amount of the grants maybe? So, Priscilla, did
I wanna
they
say
file a
they-
990, or is it too young for them to file a 990?
You know who's funded them before, besides the city?
No, they didn't. So
But
2023.
they have funding from some other source.
Revenue.
So they, statement of financial position,
Oh, they have fundraisers, so I don't know.
there's not, it's not noted here.
No.
Right?
They have revenue of $110,000.
Okay, so there is some other funding that was not noted there.
Fundraisers that they have.
However, that's great, I'm glad that they're able to do that. I know that they do provide a lot of moral support to the families and then to the children. I'm gonna stay with my vote. Stella, what would you like?
What was your
What
vote?
was your vote, yeah?
My vote is going to be for the 25,000.
Yes, I agree with that 25,000.
15,000 for me.
Adrian?
15.
Again?
25, please.
Angie.
Angie.
Once I got tells
okay.
you a name.
That's it.
Cynthia
25.
and Melissa Priscilla.
And 25.
I'm sorry?
25.
25.
23,333.33.
How do we get to
Amend.
15,500?
Just amend.
The only one that can change it is you, Stella.
I said 25.
I wrote you down at 15.
That's
No,
me. That's me.
Adrian, okay. Adrian?
Yeah, so I amended the $500 to 15,500.
So now it's 23,416.67.
See, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay, 1-3. Okay, we're good, right? Did you say 23,416?
That's correct.
.67.
Okay. I'm gonna go slow. Because we have two more. So Texas Bank Council, BSA. So South Texas Council, BSA, did y'all know that was a Boys Club?
Yes.
The Boys Club, the Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts.
Okay, the Boy Scouts
Yes, ma'am.
do not note any fundraising events and totals here, but they do fundraise. And they're pretty healthy with their revenue. They're asking the city for 25,000. They want 100% of the salaries, which is 15,000. No, that knocks it down. 25% is, if I'm correct, if you can check that, I came out with 3,750. And then their program supplies 3,000, travel and transportation 2,000, and registration assistance 5,000. Their needs assessment, the project will enroll 8 kids every quarter. Enrollments will be tracked via the organization's registration tracking log. And that is a program that they have called Scout Reach. The Scout Reach also will go to the schools to do Scout Reach and sign in rosters enrollment applications. They do get funding. I do have copies of that. And they start, and I made just a few. United Way Coastal Bank, 59,623. Steel Dynamics, 55,000. Coastal Bank Community Foundation, almost 40,000. John Jackson, 35,800. Jerry and Mary, 25,000. Rachel Foundation, 25,000. Another 20 and another 20,000. They're a pretty healthy organization, but it is a very effective. Reach out to the boys of Laredo, and the scouting program has achieved even national status, with one of the scouts being recognized as something, and I'm sorry, I don't have that information. For that reason, my score,
Very familiar with that.
right, is going to be, Cynthia, you go first.
My son's an Eagle Scout, that's why. No, I'll stay with 25.
It can't be the 25
I mean, that's
because
right.
the deduction of the
That's right, you
salaries.
took down, so
So it would be about 21,000?
I'll say 20.
20? Okay. Cynthia, 20,000. Angie?
I'm gonna do 5.
Angie says 5. Adrian?
20,000.
Stella?
20.
And Priscilla?
15.
And I am going to do,
That we already-
I'm going to do 10,250.
10,250?
Mhm.
Okay, so the average is 15,041.67. 15,041.67.
Speak
No,
question.
oh, that's Rebecca. I understand.
Available bonds, oh.
Is everybody comfortable with their vote?
Yes.
With their recommendation? Okay. Moving along to the Volunteer Service Council. We are familiar with this organization as they serve the veterans.
Correct.
And it is by the effort of one lady by the name of Gigi.
Oh, that's where they have that store, right?
They have the thrift store.
Veterans
Yeah, they
Service.
do a lot of like.
Have you been?
Yeah.
It's the most interesting and sad thing because you see our veterans and they are in dire need.
Yes.
She requested 15,000, so we're gonna go to the mercy aspect of it, okay?
Yes.
I did not print, I did. Needs statement, the thrift store continues to struggle in efforts to recover the pre-pandemic revenue that was so heavily relied on for up to 1/3 of operations costs. Although costs have been minimized as much as possible, the economic increase of basic expenses exacerbates the struggle. We are very hopeful for an improved economy that will provide an increase in the VST and thrift store revenue. We have come a long way. We humbly request the assistance of the third-party funding. We are requesting 15,000 to enable the VSTN to continue providing food and essential items to financially challenged Webb County military veterans, surviving spouses. The VSTN provides nutritional and personal hygiene products as well as supplemental bread, milk, and produce as available. All the proceeds for the veteran programs are designated for direct distribution to Webb County military veterans and surviving spouses. We do not have shareholders and therefore do not prepare annual reports as requested. Grants, she did note her grants, 176,628. Not all are restricted. Donations are not specific to the Veterans Project.
People donate clothes and stuff like that, I know, make donations there.
Other resources and awards pending, Lamar Bruni Vergara, so she does get funding. The Prairie Foundation, grants are not restricted and can be used if funds for food purchases are not available. Restricted funds to the product is 35,000, and that's from us. So, but she's asking, and please confirm, for 15,000, correct?
Correct.
So she's considering that to be a restricted fund, and it is, because they have to support it. Okay, and that's for food cost. All right, you want to start first?
15,000.
Adrian?
15,000.
Angie?
Angie, thank you. God, I'm still, that's gonna be a while, I
okay.
can tell you.
I'll be patient.
Thank you. Cynthia?
Ditto.
That's me.
From non-existence. What? I said I graduated from non-existence. And she was acknowledged and recognized.
Improvement, right? Good improvement. Senorita Priscilla?
15.
And myself, 15.
That's an easy one.
What was the available amount of funds for this?
450,000.
450.
No.
I want to amend my Smiles from Heaven one to the whole 25. Or to the whole, what was it?
Good.
Yeah, to the 25.
25,000.
Yeah.
So the
Where did you get it?
What did you put?
So
You put 15,500.
Yeah.
You did 15,500.
Yes, I put the 25.
Okay,
That way we-
It'll be the 25.
so it'll be an average of 25.
Smiles, the girl, 25.
Okay. Does this conclude?
Can we look at the first one again? I felt like we were harder on the first one. When we ran the other one.
That was AHEC.
AHEC.
The reason for AHEC,
Because we had a lot of,
there were some attachments, this is Smiles from Heaven, which is, carryover funds, application incomplete, all revenues, grants, et cetera, empty. Get funding from other grants, they give us a 2022 tax report, not even the 2023. Carryover revenue, 232,158. They put scholarships as part of, $10,000 for scholarships as part of their request. And the request amount was for 30,000, we could only do 25. So you deduct the 10,000 from the
they
25.
requested 85.
Oh, sorry, 85. I keep on wanting to get them less. They requested 85,000. And then they did, which we can only do 25.
Right.
But from the qualifying authorized 25,000, deducting the 10,000 for the scholarships, because they were non-qualifiers as defined. And the other one, that was the T-shirts and caps for non-qualifiers, it's 5,000. So you have already 15,000 non-qualifiers, and therefore, they're
So max
average.
was 10, okay,
Yeah.
essentially.
Mine was 10 too.
We good?
Yeah?
Yes.
All right, everybody? We actually are ready for a hot dinner.
Well, we need to close the meeting.
Okay, I'm just saying, everybody, are we ready? We want to thank you. Everybody, really thank you for all your efforts. It was very time consuming. Your input was
You did an
good.
excellent job.
Yeah.
Excellent job. Very well prepared, very well prepared.
And, Ms. Villalobos, are we gonna schedule another meeting?
What we're gonna do is the following before we close. We're gonna go to another topic, and it was mentioned in discussion.
I don't remember.
It was mentioned that many changes needed to be made in the process of scoring, in the process of application, and the acceptance process. Therefore, I would like to put this as an action agenda for our next meeting, so we can discuss this in detail and everybody bring their concerns and recommendations to improve the application process and make it not only more efficient, but better prepared by the entities applying and providing us the information that we need, and to be current information, and aside from everybody's recommendation. At that, also, I would like to see if maybe it doesn't go with that, but if we're gonna be discussing changing the date of the deadline for the applications, so we can have a 2024 tax information versus a 2023, making it harder in our decision-making, that the process was exactly where it drove us.
Mhm.
So we would like to discuss that. Anybody else want to make any recommendations? All right.
We have time to think about these for next time.
Yes, no, we're gonna discuss
Right.
it. I am making a recommendation that these things we bring up for our next meeting, and we can take action on voting for them. So please write down whatever your recommendations are gonna be, and we'll discuss them on our next meeting.
Which will be,
Our next meeting recommendation would
It's
be,
up to you.
are you all ready for a break, or are you all ready for next week?
We can do it in a month.
Yeah, let's do one.
I don't know, I would recommend next week, because we have it fresh in our minds, but how about
Well,
I mean,
how about 2 weeks maybe?
in
Let's
2
see,
weeks? I
let's
would
see.
take 2 weeks, because it's fresh in our minds for
2
me.
weeks would be.
And since I call people by the wrong name, I
tienes que practicar más.
I don't want to
Tienes que
do.
practicar.
I mean, can we email you, like, as of, you know?
We email it to our liaison, and then she can print that for us, so would you all be ready to do that?
Can we have it on
It's the 25th.
can we have it on another day other than Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm out of town on the 25th.
I'm out of town on the 26th.
Okay, the 24th?
I'm out of town on the
for
25th.
the following week, the
Okay.
first week of July.
Yeah,
I don't want to go, I'll be out of town the first week of July.
Okay. How about the second
How
week of
about-
July?
I think we're taking, to be very honest, that's a little bit too far out, because we just
Okay.
reviewed this and it's fresh.
Thursday, the 26th,
I'm out of town.
on the 27th.
How about Monday, the 23rd?
Yeah, Monday.
Monday the 23rd is good.
That works for me.
Okay.
Okay, Monday the 23rd, it is good recommendation for Monday
At
All
6
right.
p.m.?
at 6 p.m.
So we do start emailing recommendations for
Yes,
the agenda?
because I know some of us already
You
have
can send me the
them.
information and I'll just,
Create
put
it.
everything together.
And then you're sending the calendar invite?
Yeah.
If anybody wants to look at some of the grants provided to some of the entities, I do have that information. Feel free to research it if you like, maybe you can review as well, or just research it.
Thank you.
Look at it. It's a pleasure. It's hard work. We did it. Congratulations, everybody.
You need to accept the, to approve the.
I'm thanking you guys for your
amounts.
time and efforts and for answering
Okay.
the emails that you all did at all hours, and at the time that we had emergencies and glitches and things that were not being printed. You guys have been amazing to work with. All right, we need to, we need
Yeah,
to
a point of
agree.
order, a point of order.
We need a
Madam Chair.
motion to accept.
I'd like to move that we accept all the recommendations we
I'll
received
second
tonight.
that, yeah.
Second it?
I'll second that.
Motion made and second.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay.
All in favor?
Make a motion that we move and end this, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion that we conclude our meeting.
Adjourn.